So before we get into this video, real quick, for those wondering, where are my reviews for for Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance, and more importantly, the Steven Universe movie? If you haven't already seen them, they're over on my other channel, Comic Universe, which you guys can click the link below and check out. The reviews are there, both of them. I give my full thoughts on both. I give my full thoughts on both, Dark Crystal and the Steven Universe movie. If you haven't already, you guys can go check out those reviews over on that channel. And if you haven't already, go subscribe to that channel. We're definitely always looking for new subscribers. And yeah. So anyway, also, if you haven't already seen it, that's also where I did my Invader Zim Enter the Florpus review. For also those wondering where that review is as well. Anywho, so let's get into this video, and it's another who would win, where I talk about two characters and what would it be like if they fought, and you guys tell me who in the comments below. You guys tell me in the comments below who would come out on top. And yeah, it's another Spider-Man Batman fight. Well, Spider-Man character versus Batman character. And the two combatants are Spider-Man himself and Bane. Now, Bane has always been like a character I've wondered, what would it be like if he fought Spider-Man? You know, Spider-Man, of course, has the powers, but can he match up to Bane? And yeah, that was kind of my thought, is that, you know, Bane would make an interesting enemy for Peter. You know, that kind of just ruthlessness and just brutality Bane has. Like, the only other person who kind of has that are like Venom or Kraven in Spider-Man's book. Anyway, so let's get into it with this fight. Now, obviously, right out the gate, you're probably wondering, well, Spider-Man's definitely got the strength advantage. He can win. You know, he's stronger than Bane. Well, you have to remember that Spider-Man pulls his punches. He definitely pulls his punches, and also, Bane's venom makes him, incredibly strong. I don't think, obviously not to the point of giving him, the ability to lift like 10 to 12 tons like Peter can, but Peter holds back, and Bane doesn't hold back, so when Peter punches Bane's gonna feel it, but he's gonna shrug it off. He's like, oh, I am used to pain, are you? And Bane's gonna hit him with everything he's got. And while Peter does have superhuman ability, superhuman durability, excuse me, and he can definitely take a punch from Bane, Bane's going to come at him relentlessly. Now, the other thing you have to look at is that Bane is incredibly intelligent. He is a perfect mix of brain and brawn, and I think he would realize fighting Spider-Man head-on would not be a good idea. I think he would realize, facing Spider-Man, and I think he would study him first before going into a matchup. Now, would he kind of figure out that Spider-Man has like a spider sense to help him avoid, any kind of hits or whatever? Possibly. I think Bane would, if he studied Spider-Man's movements long enough, I think he'd be like, he seems to have some kind of like sense that allows him to detect what's going on. So he might try to exploit that or try to figure it out. It's hard to say, unless these two were just like going in blind. Bane would probably, even if they went in blind, Bane, as the fight went on, would kind of pick up, the Spider-Man's reactions are a little too quick for my taste. Even Batman's reaction time isn't this fast. So that's the other thing you have to look at. Now, Bane is a master hand-to-hand fighter. He is also a dude who can take a lot of punishment. For a guy who's just a normal human being and just amplified by Venom, that's the big thing, is that Bane can take a lot of punishment that Peter could dish out. I don't know if he could rip through solid webbing. That's another major thing you have to look at, is that Bane, it's hard to say if Bane could actually rip through like Peter's webbing, but I think he would be like, he would be smart not to get caught up in it. Now, could he grab it and like throw Peter around? Possibly. That's another aspect you have to look at. The other thing is that Spider-Man doesn't fight like Batman. Bane is so used to fighting Batman, and his way is that I don't think he would realize, if they ever fought, that Peter doesn't fight like Bruce does. Peter is always jumping around, leaping, staying out of his opponent's grasp. And Bane is usually used to a physical fight. Like, he's used to a head-on physical matchup, because that's what it usually comes down to between Bruce and Bane, is that it's usually a knockout, drag-out fight between the two, because Bane is actually pretty used to Batman's, like, whole smoke and shadow kind of thing, so Batman is forced to resort to these hand-to-hand combat matches between them. But Spider-Man doesn't fight like Batman. Spider-Man is used to being agile and jumping around and not staying in one place for too long. He is usually used to just, constantly moving. And I don't think that would irritate Bane, but Bane would have to think of a new kind of, like, strategy to kind of get Batman, bring Spider-Man down to his level, or bring him down to fight like him. Which Spider-Man is not going to do. And also, I don't think the quips are going to be much of a, use here, because, yeah, quips and jokes are pretty much in Spider-Man's arsenal, because that's how he frustrates and angers people. So the typical, oh, I didn't think I would be fighting Rey Mysterio today, or some joke like that, wouldn't faze Bane. He would just be like, you talk too much. I look forward to ripping your jaw off. And Peter would be like, well, damn, dude, calm down. So the jokes, I don't think would affect Bane like they would most villains who fight Spider-Man. So that's another aspect. Because, again, nobody takes into account that, Peter's jokes have a reason. Peter's jokes have a meaning behind them. Not only to keep himself, in his head in the game and make himself feel better, the other reason is because, yeah, that throws off his enemies. That makes him riled up. But Bane isn't like most of Spider-Man's enemies. It's not like the Rhino who just gets angry after every time, he gets told a dumb joke. So Bane would just kind of block that out of his head and try to get Spider-Man to fight at his level. But in a physical contest, it's hard to say because Bane's venom is, at a whole new level right now in the comics. But again, I don't think it would match Spider-Man's strength. But like I said, Spider-Man doesn't fight at full power. He doesn't fight at full strength. Bane, however, despite having, probably not being as strong as Spider-Man, does hit with everything he's got every time. So when Bane punches somebody with that venom, especially Spider-Man this fight, yeah, Pete's gonna feel it in the morning. So you guys tell me in the comments below, who do you think would come out on top in this matchup? If you think Spider-Man would win, put hashtag Spider-Man wins and list off the reasons why you think Pete would come out on top in this matchup. Or if you think Bane would win, put hashtag Bane wins. So I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about this one. And yeah, I know, this one's a little more evenly matched, because looking back on it, the Batman Who Laughs Carnage fight was pretty uneven, because yeah, Carnage didn't kill the entire universe like Batman Who Laughs did, so yeah, it's a little looking back, it's a little uneven. But yeah, so I really want to know, do you guys think Bane could break the spider? Or do you think Spider-Man would come out on top? But as always, I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say. And hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.